Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips that I've personally found really helpful on my recovery journey so far in regard to gaining weight and accepting the no exercise protocol. First, if you're new here, hi, my name is Zoe. I am 19 years old and I'm a college student, but more than that, I'm a person navigating recovery and just really connecting on a journey to connect back to myself and really make peace with food and my body. And I hope that this channel can be a safe place for you to really connect back to yourself and to reflect on your own values and develop a deeper relationship with yourself, and also giving you ideas on ways to nourish your body through plant-based and vegan recipes. So without further ado, I would love to share with you guys the tips that I have found really helpful for me so far on my journey. So the first tip would be to have a reasons to recover list. Now, I've had a reasons to recover list throughout almost all the periods that I've been through in regards to my recovery. I've made a couple over the years as well, and I wanted to show you guys an example of one of the ones that I did make. I decorated it a little bit. Feel free to get creative with your lists. I personally like to decorate them because I like hanging them up everywhere. So there was a time where I made a bunch and I just hung them around my house, but feel free, you can hang them in your room. And then even if you want to create a tiny one, I personally think those are probably the best because you can basically carry it with you wherever you go. And the reasons to recover lists are so helpful are, I think, because they help you see the bigger picture. And sometimes when you're in recovery and you're eating more and you're following all the protocols and your meal plan and all that kinds of stuff, it can be really scary. And there might be some times where you might have like an overflow of emotions and you're like, oh my god, like I can't function, like I just can't. And your experience can be very subjective at that point. You can be very one-sided with your opinions and your thoughts, and it can leave you with an inability to kind of regain the bigger picture. And that's what I think the reasons to recover lists do. I think they offer you a sense of grounding and like consolation in a way that it reminds you, hey, don't worry so much about what you just ate, because remember why you're doing this. You're doing this for X, Y, and Z. And I think that really helps, actually taking off the guilt you might feel, which is totally valid, but you have no reason to feel guilty during this process. So yes, that would be one of my first tips. My second tip kind of goes without saying, but well, it goes without saying because I feel like a lot of people already, like, it's common sense to do this, but my second tip would be to buy baggy clothing. I say baggy, not necessarily like 5 sizes too big for you, but just like loose fitting and comfortable clothes have helped a lot for me in this whole process. I have noticed over the past 2 weeks I've been doing this, that I haven't really been wearing everyday clothes. This is actually like the first day I'm wearing like everyday clothes, but most of the time I've been in a t-shirt and lounge shorts, and that's just been what's most comfortable for me, just because I know that I have been tending to get more bloated recently and my stomach has been acting up, probably from the increase in food, but it's just been a lot easier for me to deal with eating more and deal with the bloating and stomach issues that might come up when I'm wearing loose fitting clothing. It's really hard, I think, for people in recovery to wear a lot of tight fitting clothing like jeans and crop tops, just because you're at this point in your recovery where you're trying to gain weight, because that is like the part that it's kind of like something that must happen in recovery. And so it can just prolong the process if you're continuing to wear tight-fitting clothing. Hello guys, this is future Zoe here. I'm editing this video and I'm realizing that
you can hear my family and my sister talking super loud and making all these weird noises, but I'm just telling you to completely disregard that. She's just being herself, and yeah, don't worry about everything's okay. My family's just my family. So, yeah, carry on with the video.
Especially if it makes you uncomfortable. I mean, if you are super body positive and you are able to wear tight fitting clothing while in recovery and while on this process to gain weight, I am not gonna hold you back. I 100% support you doing that, because that is amazing that you are so in love with your body. But I know for some people it can be really hard to love their body in this process, so kind of taking a neutral standpoint and wearing loose fitting clothing can be really helpful. Another thing that I find very, very important that I really wanted to mention is to stop body checking. Now, I personally would body check all the time. I would literally body check like every morning when I got up in the morning. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And I know that in this process, it can be very detrimental to your motivation to recover. And that is because I would body check to kind of make sure I was in control and my body was staying the same. And the irony is that in recovery, your body is going to change. It's not going to be the same. So you continuing to body check every single day is only going to hurt you, I think, mentally, because you're going to only see that your body's changing. You're going to body check, but it's not going to help you feel in control, because it's not going to look like you're in control, if that makes sense. So also, I think body checking is so outdated. Like, you don't need to body check or check to make sure your stomach is this flat or it looks a certain way, because all of our bodies are different, and recovery is a process to learn to love your body. And the reason also is because I think body checking is kind of like a easy gateway for the eating disorder to throw all these negative comments about you. Only because, since again it's really obvious that your body is going to change through this recovery process, that it's not any benefit to you to continue body checking. So I hope that tip kind of made sense. If it didn't, feel free to ask me to clarify in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to clarify. But yeah, that's gonna be that tip. And my next tip kind of coincides with how you can combat body checking, and that is the power of affirmations. I've also made a lot of affirmations in my past with recovery, and hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find some.
Few inches later.
So I was able to find some. Okay, so the power of affirmations for me is kind of like the reasons to recover, except I think they're a bit less personal and more general in regard to like words of encouragement, like you can do this and your worth is more than a number and stuff like that. Whereas reasons to recover are more like personal goals, like growing muscle, having a kid, whatever your reasons may be. And so for me, like affirmations, I love doing them like this. You can make them as a piece of paper like I did here and decorate it if you want and just hang it on your door, but I find these a lot more beneficial, and they're kind of like, these are so old, this was from when I first started recovery, but they're kind of like little cards that you can literally keep in your purse, in your bag, anywhere. And just whenever you might be feeling like really anxious or in a really tough spot in your recovery, you can like take these out anywhere and just flip through them. I know this time can be really hard in regard to really loving your body and showing compassion, and even when you challenge yourself, it can be really hard. So having these to remind you that you're capable and that you're worth it, and just having them by your side, I feel like kind of acts as like a little safety cushion that really helps you to stay motivated and to continue to push yourself through the process, especially when weight gain is coming, because I know it's hard. But yes, these have really helped me, and I really, really hope they help you. So yeah. Another tip I have is to have a support system. So that could be your outpatient team, it could be a friend you trust, it could be a family member, It could even be someone online or a community or a forum on a social media platform, but anything that you feel like you can confide in and trust and lean on when you're struggling is very, very important, especially during the weight gain process, because I know you might be really committed to recovery in the first couple days or weeks, and then once you start noticing your body changing and the weight gain happening, you might be like, oh my god, like and the temptations to go backwards are very, very strong. But this is when your support team, as well as all the other tips I've mentioned, can really come in handy, and having those people to be a physical vessel to encourage you and support you and validate that you are worth it and that this recovery has a purpose can really be helpful. For me, personally believe that physical interaction is very powerful and empowering, especially in recovery. I mean, words sometimes can only go so far. A lot of people can be more empowered by encouragement they get from others rather than a piece of paper. And that's not to say reading affirmations from paper aren't powerful, but I'm just saying having a support system and a physical support group kind of can really make you a lot stronger in your recovery. Another thing that I think can help with weight gain is stretching and restorative yoga. Really what's helped me, and this kind of will flow into the next topic I'll be talking about, which is not exercising, but dealing with weight gain, I know it can be very uncomfortable, especially since there might be a lot of water retention, or again, you might be gaining weight in certain areas and you might feel a little like stiff in some areas depending on how the process goes for you. But either way, I found stretching and doing light yoga has really helped, just because it helps to move stuff around so it's not all just sitting there, and you'll feel a little bit better. I've noticed for me that it's helped decrease my anxiety. So when you're more focused on holding the posture or holding the pose and feeling how that feels in your body, it kind of takes away the anxiety and pressure you're putting on all your racing thoughts, like, oh, what's gonna happen at dinner, oh, how does my, all that kinds of stuff. So yeah, that would be one of my greatest tips to combat the weight gain, because the weight gain again is inevitable, and it can just really help to make it a little bit more, not appealing, but like manageable in a way. So those that really struggle with not exercising, yoga can not only be helpful in that it helps like with stretching and dealing with like maybe the bloating and the weight gain, but I think it can also help as a form of movement, a lot less intensive than exercise. And I also think that a lot of people feel like they need to exercise to feel some sort of sense of accomplishment, and I think you'd be surprised at how hard it could be to accomplish a yoga flow or do a yoga class, because our minds are very impatient. They're always racing and they want to get stuff done quick, quick, quick. That's why I think we always go to cardio or weight sessions, because those you're like in and out, you know what you're doing. Whereas with yoga, you have to really pay attention to the movement you're doing, make sure your form's good, and hold it and feel it, and it's not as instant as cardio or weights and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely more accomplishing and more fulfilling. But just little quick things I have noticed with stopping exercise. I haven't really been exercising for the past week, and I don't plan on exercising until I get my period back. Some things that I've taken away these past couple days, I know I've had a lot of anxiety. There's been moments where my heart is literally beating out of my chest and I'm like, oh my god, I need to exercise, I need to exercise. And I just feel guilty for not engaging in the exercise. But a couple things I've learned, I will leave the video links down in the description box, but I was watching Tabitha Farrar's videos in regard to exercise and why to not exercise in recovery, and I found her answers really insightful, and it kind of really helped me reflect on my own relationship with exercise. I'm gonna say that I was feeling a lot of anxiety when I was the first couple days not exercising. And it got to the point for me where I felt like the anxiety around not exercising was worse than actually just giving in and exercising. And there was a lot of points where I got really, really close to just caving in and exercising. But after I watched her Tabitha Farrar's video, it really helped put things into perspective for me. And I think the approach, the reasoning was really good. And basically what she said was that we feel anxious when we aren't exercising because we have a subconscious idea that weight gain is bad. And she didn't say that outright, but it was kind of inferred that you've developed this mindset around exercise. Yes, you might love exercise, but you have this idea that weight gain might be bad. And so your body is creating all this anxiety because it's like, oh my gosh, if you don't move, we're gonna gain weight and that's bad. So I don't want you to feel bad. So I need you to get up and move. So that's where the anxiety is coming from. And the way to combat that anxiety is to one, come from a place of love and understand that the you that created that idea that weight gain was bad, it's not your fault. Society predisposes this idea that weight gain is somehow bad and somehow makes you less profitable or less of a person when it doesn't. If anything, weight gain is what we need in certain moments in our life, and our body goes through phases. Your body's never meant to stay in a season of thinness and tone and whatever for the rest of your life. Whether you like it or not, your body's going to change throughout your entire life. It's never going to stay the same. So you need to express love and understanding that the you that developed that idea did so because she thought she was in a place where she needed to feel accepted. And in order to feel accepted, she had to follow and believe what society thought was acceptable. And now in combating that, you also have to not exercise and eat more food and show your body that you don't need to worry. You don't need to send these signals to make me anxious because I'm gonna take care of you. I accept you as you are. Weight gain is not bad for you. It's healthy and you're going to be okay. And approaching it from that perspective can really help decrease the anxiety over time and has really helped me too in regard to not exercising and being okay with not exercising. And then also another quick thing that she mentioned that I didn't ever think about until now, but she was saying how like people way back then did not exercise. Like people hundreds of years ago, they didn't have gyms, they didn't have weight racks, they didn't have treadmills or cycling bikes or anything like that, and they got by just fine. I mean, we're all here now, so obviously they were healthy and they were okay and they survived. So this idea that you can't live without exercising or you can't be acceptable or be healthy without exercising is completely false or irrelevant. You are going to be just fine not exercising. Yes, you might gain weight, but that's because your body needs to gain weight, and it's not going to be the end of the world. There's plenty of people out there who've never exercised a day in their life and they're completely fine. And what hit me was she was like, you know what people were doing when they weren't exercising, when exercising wasn't even a thing? And in my head I was like, well, yeah, what are they doing? And she was like, they were living. So they were actually living their life. So instead of being consumed by exercise, they were actually doing art, they were going on trips, they were doing stuff that added value to their life. And I'm not saying exercise isn't something valuable in someone's life, it very well can be, but in recovery it's very important to find value in other things. For things that I've gained over the past couple days, not just watching her videos but also kind of reflecting on my own relationship with exercise. And yes, so yeah, today has been a long day. It's pouring here. That's why I feel like it's pretty dark in my room right now, because it's been really gloomy. which kind of reflects my mood right now because I'm very tired. But that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys found it helpful. Again, if you need me to clarify anything at all, please leave a comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to get back to you and to help you in any way that you need. My only hope is that all of you guys understand that you're not in this battle alone. I'm here, I'm going through this right with you. Yes, I'm struggling. I have struggles too, it's okay, but what's important is that you keep moving forward no matter what, and that you understand that you're worth it. You deserve food, you deserve fuel. Yes, this is a process. Yes, you're going to gain weight, and yes, it might be uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean that you have to be doing this by yourself. That doesn't mean that you aren't worthy and that you're no longer going to be good enough or thin enough or pretty enough. You are always worth it and beautiful and amazing just as you are in this moment, and no weight is going to change that. So yeah, I'm sending all my love to you guys. I'm hopefully going to be getting up some new videos soon this week, but if you have any recommendations or requests, be sure to also leave a comment down below or to DM me on Instagram. But other than that, I hope all of you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.